Hello, everyone. How are we doing on this lovely Wednesday night? I almost forgot what day it was. It is the Stanley Cup Final Game 1 right now. Probably not the best idea to be streaming as it's going on, but I got a picture. That's fine. That's what it's made for. It's on mute. It's chill. I figured that now would be kind of the best time to dive into the latest in Flyers lands. We have our podcast, our lovely Broad Street Hockey podcast, going over the Marco Rossi rumors, going over everything that is latest and greatest in Flyers land, but nothing really specific about this Nic Hague rumor that just popped up recently. Elliot Friedman, in case you didn't find out, and you would find out if you read broadstreethockey.com. Elliot Friedman was on Sportsnet 590 up in Toronto, and he said that it was the Flyers are connected to Nic Hague. There are, I forget what the quote was. I don't even know if there's actually a quote, but they're linked to Vegas defenseman Nic Hague in trade talks. Of course, there was an earlier rumor, very kind of small time rumor about Vegas and Philly talking about a swap of winger for defenseman. Obviously, a Flyers winger for a Vegas defenseman because Vegas has a lot of defensemen. But now it's kind of come into fruition a little bit with more concrete evidence. We heard Nic Hague's name in rumors before. He's always been seen as someone that he's 26, so he's always been seen as like he's going to get paid eventually, so they're probably going to move him out. And other teams are interested in him, so it kind of just makes sense. So, so obviously Philly is the team here that has been linked the most. I feel like it's nowhere of like any other team has been talked about and connected to Nic Hague as much, and it kind of makes sense from their point of view. So let's look at why Vegas might be shipping out Nic Hague. If you just look at the whole cap situation right here, let me see if I could present this, because that'll be really pretty cool. Yeah. So you see right here, the Vegas's cap situation, it's broken down right now for defense. Yeah, Pietrangelo, no move clause, 8-8. Shea Theodore, he's not going anywhere. No Evans, he's not going anywhere. Braden McNabb, he's not going anywhere. He's old as fuck. Holy shit. Zach Whitecloud, they love him. And it's a bargain contract for what he brings. Ben Hutton, fine, whatever. And this is for next year, so he signed. Kaden Korzak, again, younger than Nic Hague. So, and I think that a lot of Vegas fans are thinking that he gets a real shot and real stronger opportunity. So that leaves out Nic Hague. And of course, he's a left shot. But with Theodore, Hannafin, although he could play the right, and McNabb and even Hutton, he's kind of on the outside. So it kind of makes sense from their point of view. It's like, well, we could probably get a decent amount for Nic Hague. So he's a 26-year-old. He's 1 year away, if you just see that, from UFA. He has arb rights. And he is famously 6'6". As we all know, the Flyers want their big, beefy boys on the back end. They don't want to shy away from contact on the blue line. They love Rasmus Ristolainen, and because of that, they like Sanheim. Although he's tall, he's more a mobile and two-way guy. They want some size, especially if they want to commit to Cam York, which they haven't yet. He's still an RFA. And if they want to commit to an Emil Andre or Jamie Drysdale, although he's kind of taller than those two. But there's no real like presence on the back end, especially if they trade out Risto. That's like Steeler, and like he's not tall. He doesn't have like a reach presence. He has more like I will punch you in your face until you bleed presence. So if they get I could see why they target Nic Hague. They see a potential fix there, and especially if he's not looking for a long-term deal. Let's look at Evolving Hockey's contract projections for Nic Hague, because it does make sense from the Flyers' point of view that, again, they want to get bigger, they want to get stronger from the back end. If anywhere they want size, it's on the blue line. How do I do this? Position D, team, RFA, different, I guess. No, it'd be the same, because if he's traded, it'd be like he's there, right? That makes sense. Evolving Hockey has Nic Hague's most projected contract is 3 times 2.7. 3 times 2.7 gets them to his age 30 season, I believe, if I'm doing the math correctly. So it kind of just makes sense that if they can get a defenseman for 3 years that has size, and you're waiting around for maybe Hunter McDonald to get up to that age or that level, generally just get players. Maybe they'll draft someone this year. Spencer Gill, he's tall, but he's not mean or anything. But maybe an Oliver Bonk will develop a little bit of that side. It's a stopgap, and if you can get him for a decent price, I could see why they're talking about it. Again, Nic Hague has not had a good season. Let's dive into some more stats of his as well. He has not been great overall. Let's look at Vegas defenseman. So 12 points in 68 games this past season. Oh my God. Again, you're not buying him for his offense. You're not getting him for his offense. He is hit very often, 168 to 81 hits given out. He draws a decent amount of penalties, especially for the amount he takes, which is good. Yeah. So again, but I think the on ice stats don't really like him. Vegas, when they're on ice, yeah, the only defenseman where Vegas didn't were either even at 5-on-5 goals or were over that. Everything but shots on goal, for percentage is lower, is below 50. So it's not great. He's probably, as you can see by this group of defensemen on Vegas, probably their worst overall defenseman. Like, you can see why they might think like a Caden Korzak could just replace him. And then you have Ben Hutton just like being fine. Zach Whitecloud up here. Yeah, they're doing fine. So you're buying low on him. He's big. That's the whole thing, basically, is that he's big. And if you get your big guy, then you don't have to get him anywhere else. So again, and now we're talking about the price of getting Hague. With that rumor before of a swap of a Flyers winger for a defenseman on Vegas, and obviously it's Nic Hague now. And people kind of thought about that anyways. That's like, oh, well, who's the one guy that is kind of available and might be kind of the Flyers' MO? Obviously, Nic Hague. With that in mind, excuse me. With that in mind, it just kind of makes sense that they would deal from a position of surplus. Let's look at the Flyers wing. Oh my God, it's massive. Okay. So obviously wingers. Travis Konecny, Tippett. Maybe Daily Faceoff's better. A little some visual action. Damn, Clap. Jeez, why'd you have Kaplan there? Okay, Forster, Brink, Michkov, Konechny, Tippett. So like you're dealing from a position of excess. Insert. Excuse me. You're dealing with a position of surplus. So you have all these players, and you think of them. You want to think of like, oh, here, maybe Puppy is better. You think of like, oh well, obviously it's not going to be Michkov and Konechny and Tippett and all these players that are projected to be more than their worth, like more than just as a trade piece. And then I think everyone kind of has to go like are starting to land on Bobby Brink as the situation where it's like, okay, he's small. I don't know if Vegas would like that, but we'll see. He's small. He improved a heck of a lot this past season. He scored 41 points in 73 games, something like that. So above half a point per game, which is not something that most people would have projected heading into the season. They wouldn't have said, oh, Bobby Brink's like destined for half a point per game kind of guy, not playing a whole lot of minutes either. So when you see this, it's just like it's hard to rationalize it, especially where he's younger than Hague and everything like that. But the Flyers could probably see Brink as someone that would be on the lower end of not even value, but also talent and potential to play up in the lineup compared to their other smaller wingers. So you have your not 6 foot guys in TK, Michkov, potentially Luchenko, not wingers, but Luchenko. Yeah, even Cates is not, or no, Cates is 6 foot. Anyway, like they're in Denver Barkey, of course, and everything like that. They just want to get a little bit more size up front in general, and size in general, because that's why they're targeting Nic Hague, because he is size embodiment, and that's the one thing that he brings on the ice all the time. So you could see Brink as a player that they don't value as high as the other smaller guys, the guys that don't provide that size while on the ice. So they could probably rationalize in their head, oh well, like is he really destined for this to be on this team long term? Especially when you start talking about wingers like Alex Bump and Nikita Grabenkin, with the Phantoms, even for especially if they're drafting a forward at 6th overall later this month. Say it's a Frondel, say it's a Caleb Denoyer, then suddenly that's another spot. Of course, it'll be down the middle. Another spot that'll be taken up, and Brink that's one of the 12 that Brink won't get. So they probably have to think a little bit longer term. And while Brink probably will do fine and like could top out as a 50-point guy, I could see their rationale of, oh, well, like, is he even destined to be in Philadelphia for a very long time? So if anyone were to get traded for a bottom pairing, 4 at best, like big guy on a second pairing, or one of your bottom pairing guys in Nic Hague and is big, then it'd be Brink, because it wouldn't be Tippett. That's too much to pay. That'd be insane. It wouldn't be even someone smaller like Jacob Pelletier. That's another small winger, Jacob Pelletier, who could probably replace Brink. Like everything that Brink does, Pelletier looked pretty good towards the end of the season, and when after Torch was fired, Brink did too. But Pelletier, if they want to keep on that value, Brink has higher value than Pelletier right now. But if they want to kind of boost that, then Pelletier could probably replace everything that Brink does. So you're getting into this murky situation of like, who do we trade for this giant dude? I think it's Brink. But also that's based on one guy saying, oh, Flyers are talking with Vegas about a winger for a defenseman swap. That's the only thing that we know. That's the only piece of information that why people are going with this idea of it's a Brink and something for Nic Hague or Brink and for Hague straight up. That's the only reason. We could tune into day 2 of the NHL draft and then suddenly Nic Hague's getting traded to Philly for like a 3rd round pick or like a 2nd and a 4th or like a 3rd and a 4th or a 2nd. Like their 45th overall pick, like the Calgary pick or something like that. Like it could easily just be a draft pick and they keep Brink. You get Hague. And then that's where, say they add Hague. Let's look at the blue line. So projected blue line pairings, at least, or people that won't move anywhere. So you have Cam York and Travis Sanheim. Cam York's definitely, unless they're getting a center, like a hockey trade center, Marco Rossi or something like that. Cam York's going nowhere. It doesn't make sense to. I don't think, like, he doesn't have as high as value. Travis Sanheim definitely not going anywhere. And then you have Nick Seeler and Jamie Drysdale. That was pretty locked in. And then you have Zamula, Andre, and Nick Seeler. Zamula, a perfectly fine 7th defenseman, 6th or 5th if you want to have him. He had really good underlying numbers for some reason this season, so I'm willing to and he looked fine. Not the best, but he looked fine for what he was. So I'm willing to just wait it out, basically. Emil Andre should probably make the team, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he starts on the Phantoms again just because just because he didn't start out the season. Of course, we don't know exactly how this is going to go out. Like, we don't know if every player is going to still be here or how they're going to perform in training camp, especially with these young guys, the 23, 24-year-olds, 22. And then, of course, we know Rasmus Ristolainen isn't going to be starting the season. He is missing training camp and probably a little bit to start the season. It hasn't been confirmed, obviously, but he's going to be missing a little bit. So you have K. Burke, Sanheim, and Seeler, and JB Drysdale as your for sure, I think, NHL defenseman, and then you have Zamula, Andre, and then Risto's not starting. So if you look at that, it's basically just Cam York, Sanheim, and Drysdale as for sure, because I think by adding Hague to this mix, I think Seeler's job, so Hague's left-handed, I think Seeler's job is at jeopardy when Ristolainen gets back. Unless there's a Ristolainen trade early this season, to say December, he gets back, plays for a month, and they figure it out with Seeler and Hague swapping in and out, Zamula, whatever. There's another injury that fixes all their problems. Unless that happens, I could see Seeler basically being the 7th defenseman, and then suddenly he's your benchmark if you have to play better than Seeler, but also he's locked up, obviously, so it's a little hard. But I think Hague brings a different element. But it's also if you're heading into the season with that blue line plus Hague, I think it muddies the waters a little bit. Hague Drysdale is just a red carpet for opposing offenses. Hague Andre on the right side, maybe. Andre can move the puck a little bit, like, but so can Drysdale. So, but I don't know. You could try Hague or Saliden when he's back, just like the two big guys. I think it's going to be interesting no matter what if Hague ends up in Philly, but I think right now the it's just like it just gets messy. It's interesting too because like if Hague is viewed as a long-term piece, then suddenly like that's one guy locked up in addition to Sanheim and like if Sanheim and Sealer or Sanheim and Hague, sorry, are your two guys that are actually extended for a long time because I think York will probably get a bridge deal. Then it's like I guess like Sealer's extended for a long time too, but if Hague gets a 4-year deal or something like that, it'd be interesting. So like it's hard to see it not becoming a sudden logjam, especially even when you consider like guys developing. Like you have your Helge Grans, your Hunter McDonald's. Like suddenly it's like it's so much harder and so much more difficult for AHL defensemen to reach that next level to aspire to do something more. Especially if you have Oliver Bonk. Like Bonk coming in, he could make the team even out of camp and really, really like not mess things up, but make things so much more interesting. Um, Especially with Risto out. So I think it's going to be interesting no matter what if Hague is added. But um, like, what does Hague even do? Well, I think he fights people. Let's watch. Let's watch some of his fights. Um, well, I remember that fight. Because that's basically what the Flyers are getting. It's a taller Nick Sealer. Because like, can't. Where is he? 14. Yeah, he's big. I think I'm getting banned for this, but yeah. I'm gonna keep it small, so maybe YouTube won't like it. YouTube will like it more. Yeah, it's a fight. That's just. I mean, it would be nice. I'm just saying. I was just saying it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be bad at all. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm giant. Jesus Christ. Okay. But yeah, like I think that's where I land on the whole Hague thing recently. Of just like if you give a Brink for him, I could see their point of view, but I'm not saying they're correct or they're right because they could probably get a defenseman that could do what Hague does, but is just shorter, a little bit shorter, like 6'3". It feels like they just need someone actually capable of moving the puck up the ice, and that's not Nic Hague. Of course, they could target those guys too, like a Mikey Anderson out of LA. I don't even know if he's available. He's crazy underrated. Jordan Spence out of LA. I love him too. But like guys that would move the needle a little bit more than Hague. And I'm not saying like Brink is this massive overpay for a player like Hague, but it's clearly the Flyers addressing a need that they believe that some people like me and other fans don't think that's a strong need. They don't think that it would be great to have him. It'd be obviously great to have this hulking guy, but it's also like you can't move. We're I'm literally watching Panthers Oilers right now, game 1. And of course, there's big defensemen. Seth Jones, Aaron Ekblad isn't small. Gustav Forsling, Nico Mikla tall, but they can all move their feet and move the puck well. And I don't think Hague does that. You could prove me wrong, but I could see why the Flyers like him. Jesus. I could see why the Flyers want him and as a piece, but it's also like, so you're trading Bobby Brink to basically get what you hope Hunter McDonald becomes. Like, are you just super unimpressed of how Hunter McDonald's development has gone, how Hague Gran's development has gone? Are you just disappointed? Even Ethan Sampson or whatever. Like, of course, they're lower level prospects, but you're trading a former second round pick, scored again 41 points, isn't nothing to throw away. It's a little bit more difficult to swallow, but I could see their point of view, especially if if they trade Brink away and then someone like Grebenkin makes the team. It's like that's what the Flyers clearly want. That's what they have in their head is they want high pace, effort, balls to the wall kind of work ethic. And Brink could bring that. Like, Brink has done some of that, but not on the forechecking sense like that Grebenkin could do, that we've seen in the Phantoms so far, and a little bit with the Leafs in the NHL. But I could see their point of view, but it's also just a little bit like, could you just trade Brink for like a similar guy, but he's a center or something like that? Like, or don't trade Brink. I don't know. I'm interested in people's thoughts of what they think of this potential swap. Again, it could not even be for Brink, and we're just wasting our breath. And it could be like for a second round pick or early third or next year's second. Like, again, that'd still be an overpay because there's probably a lot of prospects I like in the second round this year. But it's, again, I could see their point of view. I could turn my hockey man brain on and be like, Nic Hague big, Nic Hague good. But nevertheless, he did actually, fuck it. Let's really dive deep. We'll probably do some more content, obviously, with this stuff. But let's do. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Fuck, I misclicked. Nic Hague. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Let's zoom in on this bad boy. Okay. If you don't know, this is... Oh, that's still pretty. Is that good? Probably. If you don't know, this is Corey Schneider's All Three Zones project, tracking data. So he's tracked 88 minutes of Nic Hague, which you might be like, 88 minutes, that's not a lot. You play like 1,000. But in general, that's like enough to see what a player's tendency is and how he works within a system. So this is Nic Hague. General offense, a mixed bag. Rebounds created, yeah, because he shoots from the point a decent amount. Shot assists, kind of in the negative a little bit. So this is also by compared to league average. Passing, deflection assists, a crazy high about. Again, shooting from the point. Rush offense, cyclone, forecheck offense. That'd be interesting to see. Anyways, offense is what you're talking about. Zone entry is negative. He does not enter the zone well. Too bad. These defensive zone retrievals, again, above a positive. Botch retrievals. He's a good puck retriever and is able to exit and break out of the zone. Not successfully with possession, but, entry targets per 60 carry against percent, kind of just above medium. Denials, not a whole lot. So he is basically, according to this data, if we're trying to conjure up in our head the idea of a player that fits this mold. So he shoots from the point a lot. He gets deflections because there's other chaos in front of him. He can retrieve the puck, but when he tries to exit the zone, it's not a great time. So he is not a puck mover. He is decent on the blue line from the point. That's probably largely because of the skill he's playing with in Vegas, where he's able to generate a little bit of offense, these offensive numbers. But generally, he fails at a lot of things of moving the puck up the ice, or is just bang league average, or just slightly below or above, not even above, just slightly below league average. So it's not a great look of getting a sense of a player. And of course, this could just all be in Rick Tocchet's system. It could be totally different, but what can you do? So that's basically what Nic Hague is as a player of what was tracked this past season. I don't know if there's any other rumors. It's been 30 minutes. I'm trying to think if there's other shit going on. I think that's all I kind of want to talk about was Nic Hague, of the whole potential swap, and really kind of dive deep into it, of their thought process, how it would be kind of turning a page for the Flyers, and especially for this management group, of targeting a player, getting him, other than potential just throw-ins in a trade like a Sean Walker or Jacob Pelletier, who they said they've liked and thought of, and I don't know if they said targeted the specific word, but they've said something like that. They said basically we liked the player, we wanted to get him specifically in this trade, even though he's not the main piece. And the Pelletier trade is obviously the second round pick, with the Frost and Farabee trade, and then obviously there's the first round picks, and Cal Peterson was involved, and Helga Grans and stuff. In that Ivan Provorov trade that got Walker. But so this would be the first time where the Flyers went out, and instead of just getting a guy in a rebuilding trade of selling off and just getting a guy back, be like, oh, we might as well try with this guy. See, we've liked him. This would be targeting a guy, be like, we want him. We'll trade our younger player or potential draft picks or prospects or anything like that, to get this player now on our team. That'd be the first time, and it's kind of showing where Briere and Jones are addressing first. It's probably the blue line, locked up Nick Seeler, potentially trading Risto, doing other things. I think that's gonna be it for B guys. Like and subscribe, all those buttons, hit them. Comment below whatever your trade proposal for Nic Hague. And yeah, BSH forever. See ya.